السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Brothers and sisters in Islam, I'm sure we have heard al-ujlatu min ash-shaytan, that hastening and doing things in rush and in a hurry, it comes from the devil. But then we also read in the Shama'il that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he used to walk, it's as if he was walking as a person who is coming from an incline, someone who's walking at a swift pace. So the question is, how do we put understanding to this? And it's very simple. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to go somewhere, he went with a purpose. Hence, he never strolled in a manner that he would divert his attention from the purpose for which he was going to the place that he was going. But whenever he did something, he did it with perfection. He did it with, everyone? Perfection. Perfection meaning he gave due time and importance to that act. Today we are going to, inshallah, speak about getting dressed. Something that to many has no significance. Just put your clothes on and get out. Especially when we're running late, there's a toothbrush in one hand and there's a pant in one leg. And we're hopping, trying to do two things at one time, multitasking like Mr. Bean does. Right? Just trying to jump around and get things done. This is not the method in which we were taught by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because in reality, even putting on one's clothing has many virtues that one should acknowledge and not deprive themselves from. Starting from the beginning, we learned that when we put anything on, any garment, may it be a sock, a t-shirt, a shirt, pants, we should begin from which side? Right side. Why? According to the hadith of Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala, he reports that when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would put on a shirt, he would begin from the right side. This hadith is in Jami' Tirmidhi. Upon putting on a garment, who would know that there is even a dua for that? There is a dua for a new garment. There is a dua for everyday garment. Alhamdulillahi alladhi kasani hadha wa razaqanihi min ghayri hawlin minni wa la quwwa. It's a dua, the translation of which is, praise be to Allah who clothed me with the garment and provided it to me without any strength or power of mine. Subhanallah. When you put on clothing that you dreamt for or you desired as a child that your parents bought for you, or that you as an employee who went out and got their first paycheck went and bought that clothing, that pair of shoes or jeans or pants or whatever, the dua is reminding us that we praise Allah who clothed me with the garment that is provided to me without any strength or power of mine. I.e., I had no part in making this garment part of my wardrobe. It came from who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What does the hadith say regarding this simple dua? Mu'adh ibn Anas radiallahu anhu reports from his father, who related that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever eats some food and then says, praise be to Allah who fed me this food and provided it to me without any strength or power of mine, His past and future sins shall be forgiven. Say subhanallah. It's not the dua. It is the acknowledgement. It is the mindset. It is building that connection with Allah. Oh Allah, I ate this food, had nothing to do with me. It came from who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And whoever puts on a garment and says, praise be to Allah who clothed me with this garment and provided it to me without any strength or power of mine, his past and future sins shall be forgiven. Subhanallah. Hadith from Sunan Abi Dawud. If the garment that one is wearing is new, the dua is Alhamdulillahi alladhi kasani ma uwari bihi wa atajammalu bihi fi hayati. Praise be to Allah who clothed me with something I can cover my private parts with and adorn myself during my life. According to the hadith of Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala, whoever puts on a new garment and reads this dua that we just read, and then takes the worn out garment or the discarded garment and donates it to charity, he shall be in Allah's care, protection, and shelter throughout his life and after he dies. Subhanallah. Hadith from Sunan Ibn Majah. We're learning two things here. You bought something new. We all desire to have something new. A new style is out, a new color, a new size. So fine. It's not wrong in Islam. But so long you can afford it. See, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, these are tools, but if you can't afford to pay it, then don't use it. Buy it if you can afford it. Buy it if you can purchase it with your money. And then when you do that, give something which is still usable. Someone can wear it to charity. Subhanallah, we live in a country where Allah has given great blessings. Alhamdulillah. There's blessings of food and there's plenty of food. There's blessings in clothing and in housing, and there's so many varieties, alhamdulillah. The last thing we should do is hoard. The last thing we should do is accumulate. The last thing we should do is keep it because we don't want to give it away even though we're not using it ourselves. Because remember, hisab and account will be on that also tomorrow on the Day of Judgment. So the best thing to do is when you buy a new shirt, give away a shirt. When you buy a new pair of trousers, give away a pair of trousers. Keep the wardrobe simple and also donate. And subhanallah, what was the virtue? Then a person donates from what they have and it's usable, then that person remains in Allah's care and protection and shelter throughout their life and after they die. We'll finish with one more point. I have something to say here. The last of many things that we need to discuss, inshallah, in the upcoming weeks, the last for today is, wear clothing that reflects your social and financial standing. Wear clothing that reflect your social and financial standing. Amr ibn Shu'ayb radiallahu anhu reports from his father, who reported from Amr, his grandfather, may Allah be pleased with all of them, who related that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah likes to have the signs of Allah's bounty visible upon Allah's servant. Allah likes to have the sign of Allah's bounty visible upon Allah's servant. Again, this is a very important hadith about means. If a person has the means, then they should not be miserly. And if a person doesn't have the means, they should not spend above their means. Brothers and sisters in Islam, clothing is a very important topic that we should talk about and think about as our world is changing. We are moving into a unisex world, where now a woman wears what a man wears conventionally, and a man wears what a woman wears conventionally. You will see men nowadays wearing skirts. The world is changing. In our Islam, everything has a purpose. And as for clothing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states in the Holy Quran that He sent down clothing. أَنزَلْنَا عَلَيْكُمْ لِبَاسًا. This is something that came down from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is a sort of revelation. يُوَارِي سَوْآتِكُمْ وَرِيشًا. It is to cover your private parts. It is to cover your modesty and also make you look good. وَلِبَاسُ التَّقْوَى ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ. A clothing of piety, i.e. a clothing and a garment that doesn't make someone proud or boastful. A pair of clothing that if someone was to throw dirt on it, or if they were to get it dirty, they wouldn't get so mad about it. Clothing is a very important topic that inshallah for the next few weeks we'll be discussing more and more in depth. Inshallah, I want to close with one of the words of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He related to us what he saw when he went on Mi'raj. There are over, if I'm not wrong, there are close to 50 different narrations or narrators in regards to the Mi'raj, many different angles. And there was two things that he said he saw that he didn't understand. He talked about people that were whipping with the tail of an animal. To the best of the meanings, the wording is not fully there. And the second one is there, and that was kasiyat ariyat. He saw people that were clothed but they were naked. It didn't make sense to him. There are many things that the Prophet ﷺ foretold that didn't make sense to Sahaba, the Tabi'een, the Tabi'een. For hundreds of years, it didn't make sense. And if they were to read it, they'd be scratching their heads. What does this mean? It doesn't make sense. But they conveyed it, they propagated it, they learned it and taught it to the next generation. Why? Because a time will come when people will realize what it means. And today we know exactly what it means. When men and women are wearing clothing and you could see the figure of their body, just not the skin. Kasiyat ariyat. Allah, we're living in a time where people have lost ideas of style. One of the latest styles, not latest, but it was this year, where you could go to high-end stores and they were selling ripped-up jeans and clothing in hundreds of dollars. Adam alayhi salam and Hawa alayhi salam came down naked. They were coming. When Allah stripped them from those blessings, what did they do? What did they do? Quran says, what did they do? They covered themselves. The first instinct of this human being was cover myself. It's not nice for me to be like this. And it was in front of each other. They covered themselves. They say the time of cavemen, and if you go back, they were naked. And as society grew, clothing was a staple of honor and integrity in society. Until the 1900s, even here in this country, if you go to museums of American history, women and men wore layers of clothing because the more they wore, the more that was their honor. And today, the more you take off, the more that's your honor. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us and our families. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to acknowledge the blessing for what it is and to utilize the blessing for what it's supposed to be utilized and to benefit from it for ourselves and our generations to come. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullah khairan. We'll speak soon inshaAllah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.